So the idea here is to make a film that is in the culture, that looks at the world as it is, speaks the language that people talk. And so I think that's the reason for its success. It's taken people by surprise. It's even taken the critics by surprise. They thought we'd do some kind of anodyne film, some Manichaean, all the Christians are good and all the Muslims are evil, some kind of silly morality tale. But we didn't do that. We made a really good movie, and Jim Caviezel helped us make it. He was like, listen, you got to be real. That was his phrase. You got to be real. And I think this film is real, and that's part of the reason it's doing well.
Well, Jim Caviezel is just an incredible actor. I kind of said to you, you never say on a show what you spoke about before the show, people, but I was talking to you a little bit before the show, and I said to you, and I mean it, Jim really changed my life. His performance as Jesus Christ in Passion of the Christ is mind-blowing. I mean, I believe he's speaking in Aramaic, the performance is so transformative that I had been a loosely affiliated Catholic Christian for a long time. I watched that film and was so touched. I'll never forget. I went with my wife, my sister-in-law, and my brother, and I walked out of there, and I knew life would be different. His performance was amazing. This is not a small-time actor. This isn't some, ham and egger you got out of a club. This is a real professional Hollywood pro who's done major films, and his performance in this film is just terrific. And if you allow me for a minute, I'm going to play this again. I warned you before, but he did an appearance, Jim, on Fox and Friends. I believe it was a Sunday ago or 2 Sundays ago. And the interview started off, about the movie. It was good. But at the end, Dinesh, he goes on this 2-minute just kind of rant that I have to tell you is one of the most powerful things I've heard on TV in a long time. We'll take a quick one to listen to this for the entrepreneur, and on the other side of this, I'll get your take on it. Check this out.
He said that, and he said, now let's set the record straight. There's no argument over the choice between peace and war. But there's only one guaranteed way you can have peace, and you can have it in the next second. Surrender. Admittedly, there's a risk in any course we follow other than this. But every lesson in history tells us that the greater risk lies in appeasement. And this is a specter our well-meaning Christian liberal friends, our priests, bishops, and pastors refuse to face. That their policy of accommodation is appeasement. And it gives us no choice between peace and war, only between fight and surrender. If we continue to accommodate, continue to back and retreat, eventually we will have to face the final demand, the final ultimatum. And what then? When Satan has told the people of this world, he knows what our answer is going to be. He has told them that we're retreating under the pressure of his Cold War, and someday when the time is right to deliver his final ultimatum, our surrender will be voluntary, because you see, by then we will have been so weakened from within, spiritually, morally, economically. He believes this because from our side he's heard voices pleading for peace at any price, or better red than dead, or as one commentator put it, he'd rather live on his knees than die on his feet. And therein lies the road to war, because those voices don't speak for the rest of us. You and I know it and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery. If nothing in life is worth dying for, when did this begin? Just in the face of this enemy? Or should Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery under the Pharaohs? Should Christ have refused the cross? Should the patriots at Concord Ridge have refused to fire the shot heard around the world? The martyrs of history were not fools, and our beloved dead who gave their lives to stop the advance of the Nazis did not die in vain. Where then lies the road to peace? Well, it's a simple answer after all, that you and I have the courage to tell our enemies there is a price we will not pay. There is a point beyond which evil must not advance. In the words of Reagan, evil is powerless if the good are unafraid.
So I heard that. My wife was making pancakes, and my jaw dropped to the floor about Reagan and surrendering and the real fights going on. You know Jim better than I do. That must be the kind of guy he really is. He certainly wasn't faking it there.
Well, this is the reason he's so perfect for this role. In fact, when we came up with the idea for the movie, my wife said, Debbie, she said, this is a role for Jim Caviezel. And we raised this with our director, an Iranian-American guy named Cyrus Naraste. And Cyrus says, he goes, number one, I don't think we can afford Jim. Too much money. And so we actually offered Jim Caviezel a character role in the movie. But when Jim Caviezel read the script, he called up the director and he said, hey, who's playing the lead? And we said, well, we're auditioning a bunch of guys. And he goes, well, why not me? And we were like, why not indeed? So right then and there, we cut a deal with Caviezel, and it couldn't be a better spokesman for the movie because the character reflects that fanaticism and passion and determination to stand up for his faith against all costs and be willing to pay a price for it. I think the passion had a big impact on Jim as well. It deepened his faith, and it makes him really the ideal missionary, I would say, for this film.